Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is the law of Kamma and vis-a-vis the practice of universal love, metta. That is to say, how by developing metta and perfecting metta, you bring about self-improvement leading to self-perfection. And through this process, you outgrow the strangle hand of karma, outgrow the involvement from the wheel of karma and punarjanma. Unless one understands very clearly what karma means and how many different types of karmas are there, and how by one's own karma one can outgrow karma altogether and be liberated from the sufferings of samsara. Now there are two words. It is said there are two words. One is kamma in Pali and karma in Sanskrit, but the Sanskrit meaning of karma is quite different from the Pali meaning of karma. Buddha used the word kamma, which simply means intentional action, and the potency it creates, the potency to give a result. So the karma becomes a karma force by virtue of the potency it has. And karma in this sense creates destiny. In other words, what we intentionally do now in this life, the way we conduct ourselves, according to that we create our future destiny. The future in this very life as well as in lives in future. All the lives that we have to go through in future. So, karma ultimately is the creator. It's not any God or any divine being or any other factors. It is just plain one's own action that creates one's destiny here and now and hereafter. Therefore, the word, you see the saying that karmato mochanan iti sansarato mochanan. If you are liberated from your actions, then you are liberated from samsara, which means recurring existence, again and again being born, again and again dying, and again being reborn. This wandering in the wilderness of samsara, or this getting lost in this aimless and endless journey called samsara, or drifting into the ocean of samsara. So, now if by managing our actions appropriately, wisely, we can get out of this drift, the endless and aimless drift in the ocean of samsara samudra, if you can do that, that is the path of wisdom, and it can be done. Lord Buddha said in the Paticca Samuppada, he also used Nirodha. Samuppada, Nirodha. Wherever there is an arising, there is also a cessation. So the law of karma is very much determined by what is called the law of dependent origination or paticca samuppada. If there is this, then there is bound to be that. Idam sati, idam hoti. When there is this, this happens. Now on the basis of this, if we examine, first of all, what it really means by the law of karma, so that we can go beyond karma itself, we can transcend this wheel of karma, and how to do that with metta, universal love, as the tool. So that is the scope of the discourse today, and it's a series, because it's a very, very interesting and instructive subject to go through in detail and very clearly, not in a hurried way. You just skip this, skip that. No. So now we today, first of all, on the basis of which text of the Buddha, which sayings of the Buddha or sutta of the Buddha, that we build this particular series on kamma and metta. Kamma sakobhi kamma dayado, kamma yoni kamma bandhu kamma patisarano, yang kammang karisami, kalyanang va papakang va, tasya dayado bhavisami iti. This is in the first person. Now the other saying is kamma saka satta, kamma dayada, kamma bandhu, kamma padisarana, yang kammang karissanti, tasya dayada bhavissanti iti. The meaning is, satta, beings, all beings are subject to the law of karma. How? Kamma saka. Kamma saka means they are the owners, they are responsible for their own actions. They are the owners of what they do. Now when you own a house, or when you own a cow, or when you own a cycle, well, you must know how to deal with it, how to keep it, how to maintain it, how to get the best out of it, and that sort of thing. Ownership involves responsibility. So, kamma saka, beings are owners of their own actions. They are responsible for all their actions. Kamma dayada. Dayada means heir. All that the father or the mother owns or lives, the son or the daughter becomes the heir. So you are the heir of your own karma. So what you are today now is just what you have received as a gift from your own karma of the past. It's as simple as that. It is not that some God has created you, Ishara Nimmana, no. You are the heir of your own karmic pattern of the past lives. When you understand that, you don't need to blame any God or any guru or any teacher or any religion or any world or anybody. And so, oh, my fate, somebody has created, so I can't help it. So now, this fate question is nothing but a misinterpretation or misunderstanding of the word of the law of karma, law of cause and effect, law of dependent origination and cessation. So, kamma dayada, kamma yoni. You are going to be born exactly where you have created your destiny by your own actions now. The word yoni means womb. That is where one is born. So where you will be born, in which plane of existence, bhava, and in what manner, under what circumstances, will very much depend upon the way you conduct yourself. So your future rebirth is also in your hand. Just as your past actions have created you what you are now. So once we understand this, that it is a law, it is not a theory, it is not a mere doctrine, a religious doctrine or anything like that, but it is as simple as any natural law. During the winter, you must face the weather conditions of the winter, the cold of the winter. During the rainy season, you must face that which is according to the natural law of that particular season, or summer, etc. Or how you see, how, for instance, the physical world works on the basis of, let's say, the law of physics and chemistry and biology and all that sort of thing. So these are laws which are definable and they work on their own. They cannot be manipulated by anybody. So the law of karma, which is called the law of moral causation. Morality deals with action. Good action, bad action. That's morality. Now, the moral causation, that is with your moral action as the cause for your destiny, here and now and hereafter. So, kamma yoni, kamma bandhu. Your own kamma is your best friend, your own kin and kith. Now in this life, if you act in a certain manner, certainly your own actions produce the very best result here and now, and give you all the good things of life that you can get through your own conduct and action. Kamma patisaranu, ultimately your sharanam, your refuge, your source of protection is your own action. Yan kammam karishanti, whatever actions a person commits or performs or does, according to that, tasya dayada bhavisyanti, according to that only he or she will be the heirs of his or her own actions. So, it is in this way, since it protects you, karma as the only source of protection. Now you follow sila, that is to say virtuous conduct. You give up killing, and at the same time you promote the well-being of all life, that is metta. You give up stealing or any kind of misappropriation what does not belong to you or is given to you. You don't go and grab it, but you do the opposite, give. You are not a grabber, but you are a giver. It both both requires the same kind of thing. What is that? Effort. To grab, you need effort. To give, you need effort. So all you have to do is manage properly, wisely your efforts, so that the effort will not become a struggle. Struggle also means effort. Either you struggle against something, or you struggle for something, or you struggle with something. Struggle against is, all the difficulties in life, all the sufferings, all the troubles. Let us say there is a phrase called catch-22. Where there, you see, it simply means that you have got into a situation where if you do something, then also you get into trouble. If you don't do something, then also you get in trouble. In Bengali there is a very nice idiom. They said, Taka thakleo gol, na thakleo gol. Taka means money. So if you have too much of it, then you get into a mess. Goal means a round, a chakkar. You get into a wheel, you get caught, and you can't get out of it because you have too much of it. And if you don't have, you're a poor man, then also life is a struggle against, you see, survival. You have to survive. You can't help. But now, this very catch-22 situation can be turned into what they call catch them all. You manage your actions, your efforts in such a way that it doesn't become a struggle. I'll give you a small, just a tiny story. It's a real story. One of my devotees actually. I know the chap from the time he was 16-year-old. He got trained well, and now he is a very big businessman dealing with printing technology and printing work. He supplies what you call all the books, educational books and textbooks and forms, this and that to this government education department. He has been doing it for the last 30 years or so. Now he says, he has earned the goodwill of all the officials of the department from top to bottom. But he is very unhappy at the same time. He says, I don't want to do anything that is wrong, but I am forced to do. How? I asked him, how? How do you do that? So he said, you know, I am supposed to supply 50,000 books, let us say, or forms or whatever. Now this official top fellow tells me, look here, you supply just 25,000 and bill for 50,000. And I will release that amount whole. 50,000 means, let us say, 1,50,000. If you say $2, 2 rupees, a form or whatever. So 1,50,000 he bills, and he says, out of it, now you have supplied only 25, half of it. 75,000 you have supplied. So another 75,000 you did not. So now let us divide it between us. He says, you give me half, you take half. This fellow has been doing it in the past not knowing the consequence. Now he knows because he has been taught, and I have been, drilling him into this. So he says, I don't want to do this. I have to suffer. I will be born poor in future for having stolen. But that official keeps on saying, hey, marbeku, duddu sikodilla. If you don't do that, you can't get your money. And he has to educate his children. He still has got children to be educated. So he is struggling now. He doesn't want to do this kind of thing, but he can't help. He has to earn. So he says, now what to do? I said, look here. Kantakena kantakam visasya vishamausadam. With one thorn, if you have a thorn in your leg or somewhere in your muscle, it has entered into a part of your body and it pains and you're suffering. The only way to remove or pluck it out or take that thorn out is by using another tool which is like a thorn. Like something like another thorn only. A pointed thing, with that you pluck it out, you remove it. If you use a knife or some other tool, you make a mess, you don't get anywhere. Or Visasya Vishamamsadam. If you are sick, your body produces toxic material, that is poison. So you take a drug which is nothing but poison. So with one poison, you remove another poison. That is all that modern medicine is. Symptomatic treatment, they call it. And it's quite effective anyway. So now, or Lord Buddha said, okay, the same analogy, use it for karma. Kammena kammang nase tabbang. With one set of karma, you destroy another set of karma. So if this akusala karma, now karma has to be understood first in this way. Karma is nothing but the law of morality, which deals with good and bad, and therefore which deals with destiny, here and now and hereafter. So, there is the akusala karma and there is the kusala karma. Akusala means unwholesome, evil, wrong, unskillful action. Kusala is the opposite, the wholesome, good, skillful, noble. Since, the supremacy of good over evil, good will always triumph over evil. So, picking up this story again, I told this gentleman, look here, you are grabbing on one way. Then don't do a lot of giving. He said, how? I say, you are supplying your things, connected with the education of the people. There are any number of schools which are suffering and struggling. They can't give pay to their teachers. All poor boys who are not very bright and who can't get into these fancy schools where you have to pay huge money to get educated. Elite schools which create the elite system. That means another caste system through education. What a catch-22 again. That is the world. So now, you go and try to help those schools. Now you have got 40,000, 75,000 you divide it among yourself. Okay, let's say you have got about 40 or so. Give away. Take that much that you have spent for your actual work. He said, I have spent 15,000, that's all. So I said, okay, you are getting 75 by spending 15,000. Okay, you keep 20,000 as your lava for 5,000. Rest give away. He said, oh, these schools are rotten and all that. No, never mind, don't judge others. The fact there are poor boys and poor teachers, good enough. No, I want to give it to ashram. I say, okay. In the ashram you have a lot of thugs putting on the robes. So you want to give them? Make them fatter? No. So I say, okay, find out good people, good Swamis, good sadhus, good holy people. You can get them. Go and humbly serve them with what they need. They don't need money or this, that and all that. They are already having plenty of it. Give them what they need by way of holy life's requirements, requisites. They need alms food. They need their robe and things like that. So this gentleman has been doing exactly this. Now he doesn't suffer from the remorse that he has been having, because good is always more powerful than evil. So Lord Buddha said the same thing. If you want to get out of the catch-22 of the karmic process, practice sila, practice samadhi, practice panya. Sila, samadhi, panya. These are the three modes of training and development known as Arya Attangika Magga, the Noble Eightfold Path, which leads to Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patipada. It is the path leading to the cessation of dukkha once for all. To be born again and again, to die again and again, to be reborn again and again and drift in the ocean of samsara. That is real dukkha. That is the metaphysical aspect of dukkha. That is real dukkha. Uncertainty, burden. You want to make an end of it, and this samsara happens because of karma only, your actions. Because you indulge in wrong actions. Out of greed, you see, you do something. Out of hatred, you do something. Out of delusion, you do something. Out of egotism, you do something. Out of jealousy, you do something. Out of meanness, you see, stinginess, you do something. Or say something or think something. All right, find out. If you want to go beyond karma, know where karma starts, and that is mind. Dhammapada tells you the very first thing. Mano pubbangama dhamma mano settha manomaya. Manasate paduttena dhasati va karoti va tatonang dukkhamanveti chakkan bhavahato padam. Mind is the forerunner. Mind precedes everything. So before you do every action, karma formation, sankhara, kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. Before you are engaged in karmic formations. You see, it is the mind that is the source of all this karma. You do a bodily action motivated by a mental factor called greed or non-greed, generosity. As the story now I told you, this man is practicing generosity. And he has got rid of all his remorse and guilt and this and that. And he is thriving. And not only that, he has changed the mind of those officials. Something happened because of all this very good, noble conduct. He said, look here, mere giving is not enough. You give it with a purpose. And the purpose is bring happiness to all. This official who is corrupt is a very unhappy man. He is full of fear. These children who are learning are absolutely poor and the teachers poor. They are suffering. So now, do this dana on the basis of metta. May these children be happy. May they be free from suffering of ignorance, suffering of being illiterate, and due to poverty. May their parents be free from poverty. May these children also be free from poverty. This teacher also be free from poverty and the suffering that poverty causes. With this motivation, with this intention, which is a very, very powerful intention, when you do that, with this metta, this metta dana becomes a metta sila. And metta sila becomes a very powerful tool for going beyond karma. You can overcome the akusala karma by replacing that with kusala karma. The effort is on both sides. To do an akusala karma requires effort. To cheat somebody and cheat the government and the people in this way, these officials are putting forth effort, but they don't know they are creating hell for themselves. Now, this gentleman has come to know. He says, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to be born a preta, a ghost. I don't want to be born an animal. Let's say, now I see our neighbor has got a cow. Now the cow has to be milked. At the beginning, it was, the cow did not allow anybody to milk it. So they coaxed it, did all kinds of tricks and fed and this and that, and now they are getting the milk. And somebody asked, why? What is the karma this cow has done that it has to pay back in this way day in and day out and not feeding its own calf? What is it? Yeah, it's carrying the burden of lobha. So it has to give. The price that he is paying is justice. Or you have a draft animal, a horse carrying in the let us say, one of these tangas or rickshaws, whatever. Or a laborer, poor laborer, working for a big building, creating back-breaking labor. But he doesn't have a home of his own. He is in a little hut in some slum. Why all this? What has he done? Is this kind of lobha mulaka karma. A karma rooted in greed, in grabbing, in depriving others. So he is now deprived. So once you understand that karma can be a blessing, it can be a burden. So knowing that when it can be this, manage the karma in such a way that it becomes a blessing. So the karma, every karma requires effort. Huh? तो इसको ऑफ कर दे बोलेंगे हैं बोल सकता अच्छा so if one type of karma creates this burden, becomes a burden, another type of karma can become a blessing. So here the knowledge, you see, to outgrow the wheel of karma, there is only one way. You must know how karma works and what karma is. Karma ultimately is volition. Chetanaham bhikkhave kammang vadami. Chetayitva kammang karoti kayena vacha manasa. It is chetana, volition, that ultimately determines, you see, the nature of a karma, whether it's good or bad, and so on. So now it's the potency of the karma depends upon that. So once you know, and you can manage your karma by way of managing your mind. I already told you karma arises from the mind. Mano pubbangama dhamma. So if you can train your mind, develop your mind in such a way, purify your mind, chitta vishuddhi, it can happen only when there is sila vishuddhi. So if you purify your conduct by renouncing greed by way of not taking anything that doesn't belong to you, or you see, without giving something, you never take anything. Or if somebody gives you something to eat, Give half of it to somebody else, or a little bit of it at least. And cultivate this habit of being generous, being benevolent, being loving, metta. Once you train the mind like this, through your action of generosity, etc., you see in 100 ways you can do that. Dana is one, Sila is another, Bhavana is another. Bhavana means practicing meditation. Training, cultivation of mind means bhavana. If you cultivate your mind by practicing metta, by way of metta dana, metta sila, metta sucharita, good conduct, well there you are turning the action and your effort involved in the action into a wholesome action, into a skillful action, into a noble action. This noble action ultimately determines your bliss. What will happen? If you once do this, you can never be born in the apaya, in the four planes of suffering. You can never, where you see you pay. Now this cow that I told you, this cow is paying. Apaya means, you see, aya, apaya. Aya means income, apaya means loss. It's losing. Now this cow, that's what it's doing, it's paying back debt. Apaya also means debt. Once you are burdened with debt, you have to pay back, no other go. Lobha brings this burden of debt by leading you to a particular janma where you have to pay back. Even if you are fortunate enough to be in the human world, it is back-breaking labor that makes you pay. Or so many other, all kinds of 100 different ways you have to pay back. So if you consciously, deliberately now manage your life and say, no, I will not do anything motivated by lobha, greed, or by hatred. All the suffering in the world today that you see are all due to hatred. So if you practice metta by way of practicing benevolence and never getting angry, or try not to get angry, try not to hurt somebody, not to hit somebody, not to take revenge, badlao, as they say, taking revenge. Once you practice this way and change your whole course of conduct, you are creating a new destiny. You will never be born in the lower planes of existence. Animal plane, ghost plane, the demoniac beings, asuras, no. Or the hell, you see, the niraya, the naraka, no. You will go beyond all that. In the human plane also, you will be born in a very rich family, very well-to-do family, the family where they have got some values. Now Buddhists are obliged to practice 5 silas. Why? Exactly because of this. It's an obligation, it's a spiritual obligation, moral obligation. You voluntarily undertake. Nobody forces you. Nobody says, hey, you listen to me, otherwise you go to hell. Do what I say. Don't do what I do. None of this. Voluntarily undertake, knowing that it will cleanse your mind on one hand and enrich your mind on the other hand. It will cleanse the mind of greed, hatred and delusion, and enrich the mind with alobha, adosa, amoha, with generosity, benevolence, metta, loving kindness, and wisdom, panya. So as you shed, you also build something new. As you destroy all the impurities of mind through Shila Vishuddhi, you also build up, you see, Shila Sampada and Chitta Sampada, Panya Sampada. Sampada means a great asset, a property, a wealth. You are enriching yourself. Now once you understand this is called self-knowledge. So Buddhism can be ultimately, you see, described as a process which starts with self-knowledge, knowing yourself. Know yourself as you are, not you pretend to be what you are, no. Or what the world tells you what you are, no. But what you really are. Don't cheat yourself or cheat the world. So self-knowledge enables you to do that. Once you begin with self-knowledge, you know yourself, which means know your actions, because ultimately everything can be reduced to action. From morning till night, what do you do? Something or other, some action. So make sure this action is good intentional action, not mechanical action, not just restlessly doing something and you don't know what you are doing, what you are saying or what you are thinking. No, that is blind, that is ignorance. Consciously, deliberately train the mind to do things which are volitionally wholesome, intentionally wholesome. As you keep on doing that, purify your conduct, purify your mind, and out of that purification of wisdom will take place. Now this is the path. Starts with self-knowledge, then it goes to the next stage of self-improvement. When you know yourself aright, wisely, it's only then that you can improve yourself. No God, no Guru, no man, no religion, no society, no money, no wealth, no wife, no husband, nobody can improve. You yourself dirty yourself, therefore you yourself must purify yourself. In Dhammapada there is a wonderful gatha on that. By oneself one is made impure, by oneself one is made pure. So self-improvement. Once you keep on doing that day in, day out, consciously, deliberately, out of that comes self-transformation. You go beyond, you are no longer the same self. You become a ghee out of milk. I have already given you the example of that. Transformation means what? You have a bucket of milk, good. You can keep it for no longer than 2 or 3 days, 4 days, then it becomes rotten. You turn it into curd, yogurt. You can keep it for a week or 2. You have transformed them. You have brought about a chemical change, not a physical change. That is transformation of some kind, transmutation. Mutation. Now, then you turn it into butter, you can keep it longer. Then into ghee, you can keep it longer. So, self-transformation is a process which starts with self-knowledge, then to self-improvement, and then from self-improvement to a process of self-transformation. And once you come to the very end of it, your mind is totally changed from that of a mundane consciousness to that of a trans-mundane, super-mundane consciousness. From the Lokya Chitta to Lokuttara Chitta. May the grace of Lord Buddha surround your lives with wisdom and enable you to grow, to evolve from the Lokya to the Lokuttara. May you all be happy and well. Sukhino bhavantu.